Rahmanir Rahim, starting with the name of Allah the Almighty, who has given us everything in this life and hereafter. I'm really sorry that I'm coming up after a long time with a new video. I was busy with some of my personal work and I was busy with the clients at the same point in time. So we will be discussing about the same story about how many visa grantations we are getting in a given day, and I have a few of them which I just wanted to share with you. We have realized this fact that the visas are coming in Pakistan, but they have to a certain extent slowed down. I have a little bad news for students as well. I have received through a source from Facebook, I received this refusal of student visa subclass 500. I am not allowed to take the name of the student, but I would just go with the details which are provided to me by that student, which has everything in there. And I would just be discussing the complete case of the student with you guys, so you could have a very detailed viewpoint of what the case officer actually talks about. So I would just come up with the explanation. I would just tell you this thing, that this refusal came for Melbourne's Polytechnic Institute, and it's a very sorry story for any individual to listen to, but I would just go through the details provided to me by the student, and I would just read out what the case officer says. Any other matter relevant to the applicant's intention to stay in Australia temporarily must also be considered. These factors have been weighed up to make an overall decision. In considering whether the applicant met the genuine temporary entry criterion, I had regard to the following factors. Consistent with clause 500.212 and Ministerial Direction number 69. The factors were used to weigh up the applicant's circumstances as a whole in reaching and finding about whether they satisfied the genuine temporary entry criterion. I have given regard to the applicant's circumstances in their home country. The applicant declared that last completed intermediate education in their home country in October 2021. The applicant neither provided any evidence of further study since completed their qualification, nor evidence that they have made thorough investigation of further study option in their home country, which raises serious concerns regarding their motivation to undertake further study in Australia. While the applicant has claimed ownership of assets in their home country to their father, no evidence has been provided. Given this, the applicant has been unable to incentive to return upon completion of his study. I acknowledge the applicant has personal ties in the home country in the form of immediate family. However, I find these ties proposed to study when considered against the fact the applicant has no significant economic circumstances in his home country. I am therefore not satisfied the applicant has been able to demonstrate the extent of personal or economic ties that would serve as a significant have concerns as to the applicant's incentive to return to their home country on completion to their proposed studies in Australia. The candidate has given me now names of the companies like Emirat Group of Companies, National Engineering and Scientific Commission, Sardar Group of Companies, Habib Construction Services, Jafar Group. The applicant has not provided any evidence of his research into employment opportunities at these businesses or entry requirements, nor have they clearly demonstrated remuneration they could reasonably expect using these qualifications. Considering the time and effort the applicant is investing to pursue his studies, I do not consider it reasonable to expect the applicant to provide this or similar information and evidence to substantiate any claims made. The applicant has provided no evidence to demonstrate they could not obtain their intended employment utilizing qualifications they could obtain domestically or employment experience they already have. Therefore, I am not satisfied the applicant has demonstrated the value of their proposed course for their future. As the applicant is 18 years of age, the intention of their parent, legal guardian, or spouse was not relevant to my assessment. I'm really sorry. So, coming to the conclusion, after weighing up these factors as a whole, I'm not satisfied that the applicant intends genuinely to stay temporarily in Australia. Decision as clause 500.212 is not met by the applicant. I find the criteria for the grant of a student visa are not met by the applicant. Therefore, I refuse the application by the applicant for a student visa. I'm sorry, I'm not able to. It's Mr. Lee, who is a case officer. I can't take the full name, who he is. But it's a sorry story, and it's a very heartbreaking story for the family who has received this visa. But I just want to brief you a few points which I can recall. There was a very weak GT from the student himself. He could have done much better. A lot of evidences were missing. I always tell you, give the original documents if you're showing your financial ties to your country. She told about the financial ties, but he has not shared anything regarding his financial assets in Pakistan. So that was one reason. Secondly, he didn't told to the immigration or to the Home Affairs Department's case officer that if he is taking any field that he is scoping off in his current education, how it's going to help him in the future jobs. It was just the name of the companies. No job specification were given to the case officer. That was the second reason. And lastly, he gave a very bad impression to the case officer overall, on the basis of which he thought that the GT clearance was not to the right effect, and the student is not going to return to his country. So it's one of the cases that I got. I just wanted to share it in detail with you guys. In the next video, I will be sharing the grantations as well. But this is the story which is heartbreaking. Please make sure if you learn anything out of it, make use of it in your GT. That's pretty much it from my side. And take very good care of yourselves. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.